Don't cry. I'm doing what's best for you.
What the? Shit!
The Lost are the main enemies that you'll be facing as you walk the streets of Union in the game The Evil Within 2. The Lost are the most common enemies that you'll be facing and take over for what were known as the Haunted in the first game. The Lost share many traits as their brethren from Beacon. They both have an affinity for human flesh, and they both form when a person's mind becomes dominated by the STEM system.
Please forgive me. Oh God, please. Please.
The Lost, as a group, appeared sometime after the STEM town of Union was created. Applicants who had been brought into the town had begun to show irregularities in their mental state. You see, before they were allowed to enter the STEM system, applicants would have their memories rewritten, so that they wouldn't know that they were living in what was essentially a simulation. However, for an unknown reason, certain citizens of the town of Union were beginning to experience old memories of their lives before Union. These memories would confuse them, and they would have to be taken to a secretive Mobius location so that these memories could be rewritten. These small breaks wouldn't stop at confusion, however, with affected citizens eventually experiencing a complete personality disassociation, and even eventual total physical metamorphosis as a result.
So you just woke up here a few hours ago?
Hours, days, I can't figure time. The last thing I remember was being in that office, like I said.
What office?
I needed some money, so I answered an ad looking for people to be in a sleep study. They took my blood and gave me a physical, and then that Asian lady asked me weird questions all day, and I don't understand what's happening.
Does the name Mobius mean anything to you?
I don't think so, but I can't remember much of anything.
At first, this issue was small, affecting only around 0.005% of the population of Union, but it was still a troubling development that warranted further investigation. However, as time went on, this phenomenon grew. Citizens' transformations were coming on much more quick, violent, and obscene than ever before, with the affected transforming to the point that the researchers struggled to call them human and thus dubbed them as the Lost, a reference to their lost humanity after their transformations. Researchers determined that the last phase of the transformation before a person became a Lost involved the belief that they were being pursued by an invisible force. Citizens would of course attempt to escape, but it would all be in vain. And once the force managed to catch up with the citizen and they succumbed to this force, the final transformation would begin. This problem continued to escalate, with more and more citizens transforming into these strange creatures. Eventually, a bottomless pit was dug to dispose of all the afflicted, and even though the researchers could pinpoint the issue as a mental one instead of a virus or something of that nature, little could be done to stop it from running rampant in the town. Originally, it was believed the issue to have something to do with the overwriting of the memories of the citizens, but once the phenomenon spread into the ranks of the Mobius organization, none of whom had their memories rewritten, the theory had to be put aside. Unfortunately, however, that was the least of the researchers' worries at the time, as the system's core was removed and the cases of Lost began to spike exponentially.
Our efforts have been in vain. The core escaped less than a day ago. Within hours, we began to receive reports of Lost emerging in staggering numbers. They're everywhere now. 20% of Union's populace has succumbed already, and they're actively hunting down and killing whoever is left. It's a nightmare. At this rate, there will be no one left in 2 weeks. We've lost contact with Mobius. We're trapped in here. the Lost. It's too late to stop now. The entire Union experiment is doomed. We're all doomed. I'm sorry.
This is essentially all that we learn about the process of someone transforming into a Lost. However, we can get a better understanding about the process from a specific enemy in the game known as Anima. Anima appears to Sebastian as a ghostly woman with long black hair, and is a quasi-physical manifestation of the STEM domination process. This means that, while she is real to the person who is experiencing her, she doesn't necessarily exist outside of that person's mind. That also means that the creature encountered by Sebastian may not be the same one in terms of appearance as was encountered by other citizens of Union. The basic premise being that as a person's mind is eroded by its connection to STEM, they will begin to see and hear things such as Anima. And once they succumb to the creature that is chasing them, they are succumbing to STEM's domination of their mind. This process seems to occur much quicker in the minds of people who have had damage done to their mind, or in the case of Sebastian, have experienced serious mental trauma.
Beacon. I can't be back.
This is pretty much everything that we know about the creatures known as the Lost, and how they became so prominent in the town of Union. Like their brethren at Beacon, these enemies are brutal and vicious, perhaps even more so than the original Haunted. And while they may not be the most difficult foes to deal with if you've made preparations for them, if you don't approach these foes with caution, they can easily back you into a corner and stop you from ever finding your missing daughter.